A performer is about to step on stage. The lights are ready. The audience is waiting. The room is quiet in that strange way a room gets right before something begins, and then someone leans in and says the last thing you would expect: break a leg, not good luck, not do your best, not hope everything goes perfectly, break a leg. It sounds like a curse. It sounds like the worst possible thing to say to someone before a performance. But in theater, that strange little phrase became one of the most famous good luck wishes in the world. So why do we say, break a leg? And how did wishing someone harm become a way of wishing them success? I'm Earl, the creator of Everyday Sayings and Origins. To keep each episode consistent, I use my digital likeness. Now, back to the story. Today, break a leg usually means good luck. You hear it before a play, before an audition, before a speech, before a performance, sometimes even before a test, a job interview, a game, or anything where someone is about to be watched, judged, or tested. But the phrase still carries the feeling of the stage. It sounds theatrical because it is theatrical. It belongs to a world where nerves are high, timing matters, and people have always been surrounded by rituals. Theater is full of superstition. Actors have lucky routines, backstage rules, things they avoid saying, things they do before walking out, places where they tap the set, ways they warm up, objects they carry, words they treat carefully. That may sound strange from the outside, but if you think about what live performance is, it starts to make sense. A stage performance is fragile. Anything can go wrong. A line can be forgotten. A prop can break. A costume can tear. A light can miss its cue. An actor can trip. A joke can fail. An audience can sit in silence. Unlike a movie, there is no second take. The moment happens once. That kind of pressure creates ritual. When people face uncertainty, they look for ways to feel control. That is true in sports. It is true in gambling. It is true in sailing. It is true in old farming traditions. And it is definitely true in theater. So one of the strongest explanations for break a leg is simple. Actors did not want to say good luck because saying good luck was thought to tempt fate. If you directly wished for something good, maybe the opposite would happen. So instead, people said the opposite. Break a leg. The words sound bad. But the intention is good. It is a reverse wish. A way of sneaking good luck past bad luck. That idea may feel odd now, but it fits the world of superstition perfectly. In superstition, direct language can be dangerous. If you brag about good weather, the storm comes. If you say everything is going smoothly, something breaks. If you say nothing can go wrong, something immediately goes wrong. That feeling still exists today. People say, don't jinx it. Someone says, this traffic is actually not bad. And another person says, don't say that out loud. Someone says, I think we are going to win, and another person says, don't jinx it. That is the same basic instinct. Do not challenge luck. Do not speak too confidently. Do not call attention to good fortune before it has safely arrived. Break a leg lives in that same family. It says something bad so the good thing can happen. It is a verbal disguise. The performer hears the phrase and understands the hidden meaning. You are not really wishing injury. You are wishing success. But you are doing it in the language of superstition. That is why the phrase works so well in theater. It turns fear into tradition. Before a performance, everyone is nervous. The actor knows it, the director knows it, the crew knows it, the person saying, break a leg knows it. The phrase gives everyone something familiar to say in an uncertain moment. It is not a long speech. It is not emotional. It is not too serious. It is short, strange, and understood. That matters. Sometimes people need a phrase that carries encouragement without making the moment heavier. Good luck can sound ordinary. Break a leg sounds like you belong to the world of performance. It is almost a password, a little backstage code. If you know what it means, you are part of the tradition. That helped the phrase survive. But the exact origin is not completely settled. There are several theories. Some people connect it to bending the leg while bowing. In that version, break a leg may have meant performing so well that you would have to bow, bending the leg after receiving applause. Others connect it to the idea of crossing from backstage onto the stage, sometimes described in older theater language as crossing a leg line or curtain line. In that view, breaking a leg could mean getting on stage, appearing before the audience, and earning the chance to perform. There are also theories that connect it to old European theater customs, audience applause, or performers being paid only if they appeared on stage. Some versions are clever, some are possible, some may be later explanations built around a phrase that was already in use. That is the difficulty with old theater slang. Theater people talk, they joke, they repeat phrases, they pass customs from one generation to another. Not everything gets written down at the moment it begins. By the time someone asks where a phrase came from, the original reason may already be half lost. That is why we should be careful. It would be too simple to say we know the one exact moment when break a leg was invented. We probably do not. But we can say the phrase became strongly connected with theater superstition, and the superstition explanation fits the meaning people still use today. You do not say the plain good luck words, you say the opposite. That is the heart of it. The phrase also survived because it is memorable. Good luck is normal. Break a leg stops the ear. It makes people ask the question, why would you say that? That little shock gives the phrase power. It is strange enough to remember and short enough to repeat. A good saying usually needs both. If a phrase is too ordinary, it fades. If it is too complicated, people forget it. Break a leg hits the middle. 3 words, one sharp image, a meaning opposite to the words. That makes it sticky. It also has a bit of dark humor, and theater has always had room for dark humor. Backstage life can be intense. Performers deal with rejection, nerves, criticism, competition, and public mistakes. A phrase like break a leg fits that world because it does not pretend performance is easy. It gives encouragement with a little edge. Not soft, not sweet, not polished. Just go out there and survive the moment. That is a very theater kind of blessing. There is also something honest about the phrase. A performance can feel dangerous, even when no one is physically in danger. You walk out in front of people. You risk embarrassment. You risk silence. You risk forgetting yourself. You risk being judged. In that sense, break a leg is not only about luck, it acknowledges the risk. It says, yes, this is scary, but it also says, go anyway. That is why the phrase expanded beyond theater. People now use it before all kinds of high-pressure moments, a student before an exam, a speaker before a presentation, a musician before a concert, a friend before an interview, a child before a school play. In each case, the meaning is the same. You are about to face something. I hope it goes well. But instead of saying it plainly, I will say it the old strange way. Break a leg. That expansion happened because the phrase is useful outside the stage. Life gives people many little stages. A courtroom, a classroom, a meeting room, a field, a microphone, a camera, a first date, a job interview. Any moment where someone has to step forward and perform can borrow the language of theater. That is what happened to break a leg. It moved from literal performance to any moment that feels like one. And the phrase carried the theater mood with it. That is why it still feels a little dramatic. If someone says break a leg before you send an email, it might sound funny. If they say it before a presentation, it fits. The more performance-like the moment feels, the better the phrase works. There is another reason people like it. It lets you wish someone well without sounding too sentimental. Some people do not want a big emotional send-off. They do not want a speech. They do not want someone saying, you are going to be amazing, because that can add pressure. Break a leg is lighter. It says good luck without making the person carry a heavy expectation. It is supportive but not sugary. That makes it socially useful. It gives confidence without overdoing it. The phrase can also make people laugh right before a stressful moment. That matters. A small laugh can break tension. It can help a performer breathe. It can remind them that the moment is serious, but not impossible. In that way, break a leg works almost like an emotional reset. It turns nerves into tradition. It turns fear into a phrase. It turns the moment before performance into something people have survived before. That may be the deeper reason theater traditions last. They connect each performer to everyone who came before. Every actor standing backstage has felt that silence. Every performer has waited for the cue. Every nervous person has needed some kind of ritual before stepping into the light. Break a leg carries all of that. Not because the words are logical, because the tradition is shared. The phrase is also a reminder that language does not always mean what it says on the surface. Sometimes words mean the opposite of their literal meaning. Sometimes the meaning comes from custom. Sometimes the tone changes everything. If someone angrily says good luck with that, it may not mean good luck at all. If someone warmly says break a leg, it means exactly what good luck would mean. Context is everything. That is why idioms can be confusing to people learning English. The literal words do not explain the meaning. If you hear break a leg for the first time, it sounds cruel. Only the cultural context turns it into encouragement. That is part of what makes idioms interesting. They are little pieces of shared memory. You understand them because someone taught you the hidden meaning. Without that, they sound bizarre. And break a leg is one of the best examples. The words point one way, the meaning points the other. The history sits behind both. So what should we make of all the origin theories? The bowing theory is interesting. The stage line theory is interesting. The performer payment theories are interesting. But the most widely repeated and most useful explanation is still the superstition one. Theater people avoided saying good luck, so they said something bad instead. That does not mean every other theory is impossible. Old phrases can gather more than one explanation. Sometimes several traditions blend together. But the superstition explanation gives us the cleanest path to the meaning we actually use. It explains why a bad wish became a good one. It explains why the phrase belongs to theater. It explains why the phrase still feels like a way to avoid jinxing the moment, and that is the part people recognize immediately. Even today, if someone says, "good luck," and another person says, "you're not supposed to say that," they are living inside the same old idea. Words might affect fate. Better to be careful. Better to say the opposite. Better to trick luck instead of calling it directly. That is probably why break a leg remains so appealing. Modern people may not truly believe the phrase controls anything, but the ritual still feels right. You do not have to believe in superstition to enjoy a superstition. You can say break a leg with a smile. You can knock on wood without fully believing wood has power. You can cross your fingers without believing your fingers control the future. These gestures and phrases survive because they give shape to hope. They let us act in the face of uncertainty, and performance is one of the most uncertain things people do. No matter how much you prepare, the live moment is still live. Something can always happen. That is why the final words before stepping out matter. They are not instructions. They are not guarantees. They are a send-off. So, why do we say break a leg? Because in theater tradition, directly saying good luck was often treated as bad luck, so performers used a phrase that sounded unlucky instead. It was a reverse wish, a superstition, a way to avoid tempting fate before stepping on stage. The exact origin is debated, and there are other theories, but the meaning is clear. Break a leg is not a curse. It is a strange little blessing, a backstage way of saying, go out there, do well, let the moment be yours. And maybe that is why the phrase has lasted, because everyone, performer or not, eventually has a moment where they have to step into the light and hope everything works. If you enjoyed discovering the story behind this everyday saying, subscribe to Everyday Sayings and Origins. Each episode uncovers the hidden history behind the words, phrases, rhymes, and traditions we use without thinking. I'm Earl. Stay curious, and I'll see you in the next origin. Peace.